Howdy everyone, it's me once again, the one and only Killer Rodan. And today, as you can see, I'm still continuing my Disney movie marathon by doing something Disney related, of course. So I just want to talk about this article here and whatnot that I came across with, and showing how there's a evolution of the Disney princesses and whatnot. Oh boy, I see, I see where this is going. Yep, yep, yeah. Oh boy. Yeah, you think I'll be talking about something else and spend my time doing something else rather than doing this, I guess.
What the is going on with my life?
Anyway, the this article starts off with, yeah, most of us remember the Disney princesses. How is it, and of course, thinking about the fancy dresses and whatnot. How, and again, bringing up the gender roles. Yep, the whole gender roles where women are supposed to behave in a certain way. Which, of course, that's not what these movies are trying to do. Apparently, these films are trying to, well, at least the original films anyway, from like way back when, taught kids to be, going the gender roles and how the points of looks and beauty standards. And which again wasn't the case whatsoever. The original films isn't trying to do that. It's not trying to say that you a little girl or a teenage girl or a woman of adulthood, I guess you can say, just entering adulthood. I guess these films are not trying to say that you have to look a specific way to be acceptable in society. That's no.
That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
Article goes on to bring up the classic era of the princess, the films that started all, specifically the Snow White and Seven Dwarfs, and yeah, they made Cinderella, and then ended with Sleeping Beauty because apparently these movies are trying to say it's okay to be passive aggressive while looking pretty.
Don't be such a pessimist.
Yeah, this is pretty moronic because apparently those three films I just mentioned are pretty much uh primary examples on tablets at how to show that they're ready for someone to come and rescue them, and that's not what it is, and no, that's not the context of those movies. And of course, and it also brings up the fact that yeah, they're gonna have to these princesses have to fit some sort of conventional beauty standards or whatnot. Again, did you even watch these movies?
I smell bullshit.
During the 1930s and 40s, a truck ton of these cowboy movies were created, and they became a staple of the time. Okay, these are tough guys doing their thing and whatnot, and guys being manly, boys being rough and rugged and whatnot, all that jazz. I should know because I've seen and reviewed a truckload of these movies. I mean, a lot. Ugh, yeah. Not that I mind, of course, but I don't see the argument bringing that in defense of little boys or anything, or young men, I should say. That doesn't get brought up. So yeah, it seems kind of pick and choosing, don't you think? Video games, yes, even video games were accused of saying that women had to look a specific way with their bodies and how everything should be done in a specific way. That just sounds like a whole lot of, you know, low self-esteem that people are projecting onto media, whether it's video games or movies, and that's how it's coming off. That's like the only reason that the this article brought the original Princess movies is just to make a remark. Oh, this is supposed to be a certain standard of beauty and whatnot, but that's not what this mo- these movies or video games or anything else. That's not what they're trying to do. I mean, yes, I know there are men out there who are pigs. I realize that. That goes for women too. Women do the same thing when you think about it. But that's not discussed in the article like whatsoever, which seems weird to me if you ask me. But okay, it's all Disney's fault somehow, right? The original era is brought up, of course, which was started with the film The Little Mermaid, of course, which became a hit. And of course, it made quite a few others as well during this period of time and whatnot. And the reason that this article is bringing this up because the person who wrote it anyway, the author of the article, believe these films to be a massive improvements over the original films that I mentioned, with more complex ideas and whatnot. Films aren't just better just because they're more newer or whatever. And with the Little Mermaid, they say the studio Disney finally succeeded in creating a more complex character, which I have to disagree with. Ariel just came out like a spoiled brat, if you ask me. Really, I really did not like that movie. Although I think that movie is overrated, if you ask me. Same with Pocahontas, really. And Pocahontas was not very good, really. But the others, well, I guess I was fine with Aladdin, Beauty and the Beast, Mulan. I guess those are fine. I guess those were definitely good. I guess you can say. But just because they're from a different era, I wouldn't exactly say that they're better just because of that. And the article went on to say that the characters like Belle and Jasmine are a step forward and whatnot. In terms of, going against sexism, which of course is ridiculous if you ask me. In terms of the Pocahontas movie, the article trying to make it as if it was the Caucasian people were up to something bad in that movie, trying to go against someone from a different country. That's not what the movie was trying to say, like at all. And another thing, trying to assume like every light-skinned character is Caucasian. No, that's wrong. Snow White herself was actually German when you think about it. But okay. But that seems like a double standard anyway. Blaming every Caucasian person for racism is also racist in itself. But I mean, yes, people had discriminated against each other for being different colors. Sure, I'm not trying to dismiss that, but yeah, so it's going to the whole race thing for some odd reason. It really doesn't make any sense at all. I know this person is trying to use this kind of stuff to, uh, explain why the individual felt this way, but I still have to disagree with the individual. So come on. The last bit, it brings up the new era of the Disney princesses, like of course, like a gift for itself. Movies like the Tangled, which I actually did like quite a bit, along with movies like Brave, which pretty much fell on the radar, unfortunately, even though it's actually really good. And yes, of course, my personal favorite, Frozen, which I really enjoyed. As you can tell in my YouTube channel, I talk about this film quite often, along with the sequel, Frozen 2, which I liked even more. And of course, making a reference to, I'm talking about the Last Dragon, which I didn't like really. I actually thought it was a bad movie, almost bad. But the article was trying to say this is the era of independent, strong-willed woman. Even though these characters were always strong to begin with, but this ain't otherwise.
That doesn't make sense.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Really, you're trying to use the new films as if proof if the old movies was sexist. I know that Alice in Wonderland, the remake, had the main character Alice in some sort of like armor kind of thing, which I thought was kind of odd. I mean, nothing against women in that kind of a thing, but it doesn't really suit the character really. Not every female character needs to be butch, needs to be really having like a lot of these muscles or whatever. You can express female strength in various other ways. You don't necessarily have to punch anybody to prove that kind of thing. Just this entire thing just seems nonsensical as far as I'm concerned. And he's just trying to express the last part as if he has some sort of proof, which it really doesn't. The old movies are fine the way they are. The old princess movies, they're fine. There's nothing wrong with them like at all. And they're still classics to this very day. So it just comes off like the individual is reading way too much into it. Okay, whatever, guys. As always, thanks for watching, and take care. Until next time, see ya. Oh yeah. Later. Ugh.